But when is United going to get cancelled, man? Because not only now this Sancho saga is the new one, but I also read that y'all invited some former coach who's a convicted pedophile as a chief guest. Like, how tone deaf is this club?
It's very tone deaf. To answer your question, it is very fucking tone deaf, and it's becoming such a circus right now, right? Like यूनाइटेड फैन बनना इतना सेहत के लिए हानिकारक बन रहा है कि यार अभी क्या बोल सकते हैं. And I feel bad for the United fans. Actually, I don't feel bad for these United fans, but the United fans who end up trying to defend United in the public eye. Yeah, but so what? Like Mason Greenwood is such a good footballer, and you can't say the same about Anthony because he hasn't really done that much. But it's just fucking it's as an Everton fan now. I feel like there is some relatability because I can
because Everton is god awful on the pitch. Okay, they're tutty on the pitch. Off the pitch, fucking amazing, man. Even that whole Gylfi Sigurdsson situation, they handled it so well. There were no questions about he's our top record-breaking signing. He was out. No one heard of him. It was not a debate. End of story. Ghar pe bhejo. Paisa do. Par ghar pe bhejo. He's got nothing to do with the club. So off the pitch, they sort their shit out. So no relatability, Amog. Fuck you. United, I know you said that it's an old campaign, but I recently saw a campaign that they did in August.
That was damn funny.
It is too late to say no. I mean, what? And that was, sure, it was before the Sancho saga, but it was in the midst of the Greenwood saga.
Yeah.
Even then, to put out a tweet saying it's too late to say no, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, who needs satire?
I mean, how could they say that they didn't know that the former coach was a convicted pedophile? He spent 4 years in jail.
But that's what I'm saying, like, I feel like since Sir Alex Ferguson has left the club, the absolute mismanagement of this institution in all areas, okay, whether it is on the pitch, off the pitch, on social media, in the canteen, for all we know, has been so bad. Like every aspect of this football club has been managed so badly by everybody. And we keep saying this, like United fans keep saying this, we keep shouting from the rooftops, ki yaar, the rot begins at the top. And it's unfortunately come to that point where I, as a United fan, have started feeling, okay, the Glazers have been awful owners, but really, is that the solution to all our problems? Like, are we seriously going to suggest that if we take the Glazers out and some new owner comes in, our players are not going to be domestic abusers? Like, that correlation does not work for me. I don't know what it is that can be done. Like, I don't think we need new owners. I don't think we need a new coach. I don't think we need new players. I think we need a Pandit to do a Havan in the middle of Old Trafford. Just rid out all the bad energy, do all the puja to all the gods, and maybe that's the only way to save this fucking club. Or just fucking press delete. Control A, delete, Control S, Control Q, shut down computer. Fuck it.
Somehow, if you'll get a Pandit also now, wo bhi sala tharki nikle.
That's true. But
United.
Okay, so let's talk
Y'all will get Asaram Bapu or something like that.
Yeah, knowing United, that is, but we didn't know he was convicted of rape in a different country. Read the fucking newspaper, you choots.
Wikipedia page ek baar dekh lo.
Newspaper nahi padna to Wikipedia to pad lo. But let's talk about all of these serious issues in a little bit of detail. Firstly, of course, is the Greenwood saga. Just a quick update on that is that he has now been sent on loan to Getafe in the Spanish league, which again is ironic in a very, very different way, because Getafe and the president of Getafe was one of the first and only presidents in the Spanish league who came out in support of Hermoso and the women's Spanish team against their campaign against Luis Rubiales and Jorge Vilda. For their derogatory comments and their indescribable behavior against the women of that team. So for a team to have shown this much support for a cause, to then be like, yeah, you know what? Whatever happened with Greenwood is in the past. He has all the charges have been dropped for whatever reason, so he has a clean slate and he's a good footballer and he can add to this. Is just a very bad look on that club.
Awful, awful. And they're going out of their way to promote Mason Greenwood. I mean, they
Yeah,
started a Getafe US or Getafe English Twitter handle. And like the PR machinery behind Mason Greenwood and his move, be it Fabrizio Romano, be it Getafe, it's just nauseating, man.
yeah,
People should be ashamed that they've signed him.
yeah,
In fact, all the women's groups of Getafe have said that you should cancel this decision right
yeah,
away, but
yeah,
they're making him some sort of hero.
yeah.
I think that's ridiculous, but I have to say that the jokes that came out from that transfer saying, oh, it's not going to be the first time that Mason has heard, get off it, get off it.
Oh,
um, but
yeah,
it's the PR machinery behind him, I think, is shambolic.
yeah,
They should have done the opposite thing of just choop chop. Firstly, they shouldn't have signed him, but
yeah,
the fact that they signed him, they should have been shameful about it. And here
yeah,
it's a lot of chest thumping that's happening, which just feels so again tone
yeah,
deaf.
yeah. I mean, see, purely from a United fans point of view, I feel like better late than never. United did arrive at the correct decision, even though the arrival to that correct decision was extremely flawed and very badly managed. Like I said, with many other things, or like many other things that the club manages.
I mean, they
But at
could
the end of
have,
the day,
they should have just cancelled his contract or
no,
something. No, they are
exactly,
still
exactly,
making money out of him. They're still
exactly,
hoping at some point they'll get a transfer fee.
exactly. I feel like, I mean, it's it was the correct decision, but it was the easiest, most non-confrontational, nothing decision that could have been made. Okay, for
Right.
a season, he's not our problem. Maybe by the end of the season, everybody will forget, and then we'll figure out what we do next. But it's like it's like you going with a fucking band-aid to a pipe leak.
Yeah.
कुछ घंटा फर्क पड़ने वाला है उससे. And it's just fucking it's just mad. And I know that a few episodes ago I said, if he if we as United fans feel like Greenwood deserves a second chance, cool, maybe he deserves a second chance, but not at this club, the club that
Hmm.
at least I support. uh,
Right.
I just feel like, as a United fan, that part of what I wanted to happen has happened, and still I don't feel extremely happy or pleased about it at all. It still feels like a wrong decision, because you're right, like the contract should have been terminated. United had a great opportunity to take a stand in a matter that has immense importance, not just in football but in all aspects of life. And it's just disappointing, and it's sad that when presented with this opportunity, and nobody likes to be presented with such an opportunity, but when you are presented with something like this, it's just extremely sad and disappointing that the club did not take the right decision, and the decision they took was kind of right and also very delayed. It just makes me feel very icky, and like I'm losing my love for this club. I've gotten to that point over the years where I don't consider myself a die-hard supporter anymore. हाँ, मतलब पसंद है, but if I miss a few matches, fuck it, who cares? If they don't do well, fuck it, who cares? Like I don't let my mental health or my happiness depend on the ups and downs of this club anymore. And I feel like, in a way, it's a good thing, because fuck, we are playing badly. Like, and forget playing badly. Let's talk about the other issue. Anthony. If Greenwood wasn't enough, now Anthony has been accused of domestic violence as well. And I remember when the first instance came out, I told you guys that apparently the claim is likely to be false, because the date that the victim had mentioned was a date when Anthony was in Manchester in the United squad preparing for a game. So it would have been impossible for him to actually be in Brazil at the time committing the crime that he was alleged to have committed. But since then, two other women have come out and said that, he has been violent to them. And when that happens, you really have to look back and think about it, because I know everybody and their fathers and their brothers or whoever else, their friends, will say that, oh, but it's not been proved in court, so it can be fake. I don't know how simply I can put it. please start believing victims. Like, there are way
Sure.
too many genuine victims. I'm not saying that there aren't women who pile on fake cases. I'm sure there are, but the staggering difference between the number of genuine victims and the number of women who are trying to chase a payday with a fake case are miles different. And just those statistics should let you, as a decent human being, incline yourself to believe the victim. And when there's more than one, there is definitely something to think about there.
Absolutely. And I think what also is happening, and I'm sure Anthony won't be the last one because um, since there are so many of these cases coming out, I'm sure it's inspiring a lot of victims who have been abused to come out and have the courage to speak out against their abusers.
Yeah,
And I'm sure this won't be the last. I'm sure there'll be many more. And
unfortunately.
yeah, and I feel like you said you're falling out of love with Manchester United. It's ironic that I'm saying this on a football podcast, but I feel like to an extent I'm also falling out of love with the game because it's happening everywhere.
Yeah,
I mean, even we spoke about the Rubiales issue, and I'm guessing we'll bring it up again because there has been an update there as well. But it's just everywhere. It's shambolic behavior by men,
yeah,
and everywhere there's not only, I mean, forget being apologetic or termination of contracts. It's almost a fuck you, so what? Like
yeah,
we have seen with the Rubiales situation. Anthony's come out and given a speech saying, "Oh, I'll reveal WhatsApp images." It just feels like, I mean, obviously, it is a slightly male toxic testosterone heavy sport because that's what sport does to you.
yeah,
But I think all the skeletons are now crawling out of the closet, and the toxicity that the game breeds, I think, is out on display a lot more. And it's just, it makes me cringe, man,
yeah,
suddenly.
yeah. But just to go back to the Anthony issue, so multiple victims have since come out. Um, what Man United have done with this situation has been, again, weirdly handled. Because the first statement that they put out was, we acknowledge the claims against Anthony, and we wait for the police to conduct their investigation or something to that effect, which was just a nothing statement. Like, it didn't even have to be a statement because there was nothing stated in there. Like,
Right.
the fuck, like, it was just basically lip service just to be like, oh yeah, yeah, we know, cool, we just this
Yeah,
is
I
just
was.
this is just something to keep you guys busy till we figure out what the fuck we're actually going to do. And soon after, I think it was a day after something, where it was announced, and this was after Anthony was dropped from the Brazilian national squad. It was announced by Man United that he would be taking a leave of absence from the club. So it was
Right.
basically, they said that players who were not involved with their international teams were due to come back to training on Monday, which is today when we are recording. But Anthony would not be in those in the group of those players because he's going to take an extended leave of absence from the club. Now, the wording of that is very interesting, because a leave of absence means nothing. You haven't
Right.
said that, you like, with Mason Greenwood, it was immediately said that he was suspended from the first team and he was not going to
Right.
be training with the team, which at the time, if you look back at it, seems like a fantastic response from a club that has historically never had fantastic responses to events like these. uh, but then they do this, which is okay, a leave of absence, great, that's some action, but is that really enough? Again, the club is not putting its foot down. Again, it's not making an effort to take a stand. Again, they're doing something which is basically being like, here's a high value asset that we own, how can we best protect his value? How can we make
Right.
sure that whatever terrible things he may or may not have done do not bite us in the ass and cause us a loss? And I know business's only objective is to make money, but come on, you have to draw the line somewhere.
For sure. It almost feels like, and I think it's bizarre that they have hindsight and experience to look back at, but it almost feels like they went, "Huh, what did we do with Mason? Oh, that sounds too logical. Yeah, that
Yeah,
that sounds like too correct a decision. let's be slightly douchey about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't even be surprised if the Glazers themselves had something to do with this and be like, what is the weirdest thing? What is the most controversial thing we can say so that people stop talking about us for a change? And again, like, it sucks that I think that this could actually be a possibility, and it actually could be a possibility because that's how badly this club is run.